Good, I think we are. Yeah, I can see. Yep,
Okay.
we are live.
All right.
Then, yeah, welcome people, or a person who's listening. Yeah, I'm Dino, at Liberty Dino on Twitter. This is Accelerate.
Yo, what's up?
Uh, so yeah, I think we can definitely start with the elephant in the room.
Ukraine?
Oh hell yeah, World War
Oh
Three,
Lord.
man. Yeah.
Uh, look, I know people over in Russia. I don't really know people in Ukraine, but I have nothing against anyone.
Yeah.
Nobody, no sane person wants any of this to happen. So
Oops. Yeah.
just be safe out there, really, because
Yeah.
our government's just fucked us all, really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, I talked to a friend of mine who's from Russia today, and it's interesting to have a different side, just seeing some things differently. And then you have obviously like the European media, especially the German-speaking ones, or like especially Germany's media. It's like full out going like, "Oh, these poor people," and it's like passive aggressively going towards the direction of like, maybe we should interfere, maybe we should do something. It's a lot of weird strategies.
Right.
And suddenly a lot of young people are becoming pro-war, which is weird.
Yeah, we're seeing that here. Like, if you like here in America, and like we saw this during 9/11.
Yeah,
Well, we saw it in the Cold War. If you didn't want the U.S. government provoking Russia and playing with Russia, you were called a commie. 9/11, you were a terrorist sympathizer if you didn't support the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now it's like you're a Putin sympathizer or a
yeah,
Russia sympathizer or something. It's like, no, I just don't, want innocent people getting killed over a war that's meant to line the pockets of the elite. Let's be honest. That's really what's going on here.
yeah. I don't think we ever had any war that was something different. Like maybe some of the civil wars, but it's still about positions of power, some other artificial goals, or yeah, like it's either going to be a religious motivation, but although I would say religious wars are still about power and resources, it's just an excuse for some people to get radicalized.
Right.
I mean, like with the it's interesting, like to see it with some very radical Muslims of the Taliban working with China while they have camps for Muslims.
Yeah.
It's
It's
it's it's not really about the religion for the people leading, as we can see.
money and power and resources.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like another good reason would be, getting laid. Like I've been watching this Stanford lecture on behavioral biology. It's super interesting. I'm 3 episodes in right now. And in the third episode, they actually start talking about how chimpanzees commit genocide and actually wage war against each other, and why that is, or like what influences that. And it's kind of interesting because if you translate it to humans, it's still the same principle.
Yep.
It's like an aggressive need to survive and procreate.
Exactly.
I mean, I cannot imagine that a lot of the soldiers probably don't even want this war to end. I mean,
And that's another
there's
thing. Like let's say, you know, let's say, I guess really would be true for any country. It's like we're sending, kids who barely know anything about the world to die in a war
yeah
that they didn't want.
that they
And
did.
it's really for nothing but like I said, just lining the pockets of the elite.
Yeah,
And that's just it's absolutely abhorrent.
I mean, this one is ultimately about the power structure, about the control in Ukraine and having Crimea, but probably also like the weapon or arms production in Ukraine. I've heard it's pretty big.
Really?
Yeah.
This is my first time hearing about that. This is news to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's always like an ulterior motive, and the NATO definitely did push for subversion to make Ukraine more NATO friendly.
Yeah.
So it's in the end, it's also like 20 years of fucked up politics, and war is always quote unquote good to, um, yeah, overshadow the financial mistakes that have been made. And I mean, like 2008 was just one of the biggest mistakes in all the ways it happened.
Right.
We're still paying that debt off and just printing more money.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah, literally everywhere. And then inflation goes up.
Inflation set in, and I'm paying more for groceries for less, more money for less groceries.
Oh yeah. Still remember what I got for $20 when in 2011. It was a lot more. Could go
Yeah.
buy for like for $20. That was definitely a week of good eating. And now it's just $20, like half a week probably.
Yeah.
For smart. Oh my god! And the rent prices, property prices, that was.
Yeah, and the housing market over here is just absolutely ridiculous too.
Yeah. I mean, here it's totally nuts. It's comparable to whatever you got in California and New York City happening. Like in the city, you usually go for an apartment and pay like 250K if it's a cheap deal. 500K would be usually a thing. And a lot of areas, building a house is definitely going to be 500,000 up to 1 million.
Right.
And we got like crazy bureaucracy here where, oh, you want to build a carport? Well, pay like I don't know how much it costs, but you have to do so much paperwork, put so many hours into that before you even start actually building anything. Then you got to get it checked, and then they have to approve it, and you pay for that shit. So
Yeah, same here. Just
I
government just fucking everything up and making everything more difficult than it needs to be.
yeah.
That's the overarching theme. I think it's just government suck.
Yeah, so I mean it's bureaucrats, and I mean the tax in Germany they started to implement a new fund tax.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna start in 2024. I haven't totally read. I have not really read about it. Talked with someone who knows it that it was pushed through, and it's an additional tax for people who already own a house.
Wow.
Yeah, especially if it like also when they are paid off or anything like they just come and go like, oh, you paid your house off, you played it smart. Well, fuck you.
Right. Oh gosh.
But on the other hand, the German government is trying to place ads in places where a lot of Germans migrated to, because last year 900,000 people left the country.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. They go like, oh, why are people leaving? Like, what do you make? Is it realistic that you will have a house? Because like the more intelligent people or socially intelligent people, they will obviously go for like if they want to start a family, they want to play it smart. They want to have some house, some good income, maybe
Right.
a good place where their children can grow to be something and have it kind of safe.
Yeah. And then not be just absolutely raped when it comes to taxes and whatever else.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to that, and in the case of Germany, also literally getting raped.
Jeez.
A friend of mine is currently in Ukraine and in Budapest. She's in Budapest now, and she said it's so good to be there. Firstly, in Hungary, they don't really care about the COVID thing, so it's not really a topic. Bars and
Right.
clubs are open. Additionally, she was like, I can come home in the middle of the night, be drunk as fuck, and I can walk through the city, and it's not gonna be as weird as in any bigger German city.
Right. Where you're constantly looking over your shoulder.
Uh, and like you got the cat collars and everything, and it's so weird when you have the people who defend this thing that it is connected to a certain culture, which welcomes this kind of behavior in man.
Right.
And that's just not a thing in Hungary. Like if something happens there or somebody misbehaves, then some people show up and beat the crap out of that person.
Yeah. I remember seeing something months ago about the government of Hungary offering tax breaks to people who basically start having like at least 4 kids.
Mm. Yeah, they do programs
Any
like that.
any Hungarian women out there, hit me up.
I mean, it's a nice country, definitely. They've got good mayonnaise. They've got good food.
Fine women.
Yeah. Let's say I've had experiences. I wouldn't say I disagree. Oh yeah, and Hungary also decided to stay neutral to this entire situation. They were just like, no, we're not gonna have any troops in this country. We are totally staying out of the conflict and whatever, do whatever you want. We don't care.
Yeah, that's what should have happened, really. I guess what
Yeah,
should have, in an ideal situation, this invasion would not have happened at all. But
yeah.
you kind of have to play the hand you're dealt. So
I mean, it's been like 20 years of sanctions and weird political behavior. I mean, like Putin, yeah, sure, he's an autocrat, but if we apply that logic and go like, now we're about human rights and everything, like, why are we kissing China's and Saudi Arabia's butts? Then?
and
Because,
Israel.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to touch the Israel topic. Like
Oh yeah, that's a yeah. I don't like it when you talk about Israel, despite the fact that
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm definitely more on the pro side, but governments still do bullshit things. If we look at
yeah,
deals the European Union did, and like every European who's like, oh, we have the most humanist governments. Like we have good culture. Actually, that's not. That's kind of giving freedoms and anything, but that didn't come from necessarily just from the politicians, as we see the
right,
politicians are right now attempting to undermine those old
yes,
principles and freedoms. I know there have been some cases where like some things are conspiracies, obviously, which you cannot totally prove. Child trafficking, blah blah blah, that shit, and like, yeah, if you have that shit going on, like, you cannot call yourself a humanist.
yeah,
Humanists don't traffic children
exactly,
or anyone.
yeah,
So yeah, we've got to see where this is going.
yeah,
I mean, my theory is that I think Biden is still gonna go like, yeah, maybe we should, pushing a little bit forward, but I have a feeling that the European politicians are going to use this chance, and this already came up, to build up the United States of Europe, which is
yeah. The
it's
real
going to be.
question is what's going on that people aren't paying attention to because everyone's got their eyes on Ukraine.
Sorry, say again.
I guess my big concern is okay. While everyone's got their eyes on Ukraine, what are not just the U.S. government, but really any government, what are they going to try to do while everyone's distracted?
Oh, absolutely. Or like use the distraction to implement some. As I said, like with some politicians, it's so weird that the first politicians went for that, like the EU Parliament leader. That, by the way, people, this lady has not officially been elected only because European Parliament wrote some special rules that say this is legal now. This it's not a democratic process. Like, she was elected by elected people and pushed into the office. She just got it, although she should face a trial for
Right.
deleting and swiping her fucking phone and wasting money.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. That's no bueno. No bueno.
yeah. But I don't see, like, if this is going to happen, it's definitely going to happen. I don't see Europeans actually in any way go for a resistance. Just can't see it happening. I mean, we've had some truckers trying to reestablish it, but the problem is, like, when in Western Europe, a lot of people don't own property, so
Right.
you got to pay rent every month, and a lot of people are definitely in debt because they have to keep up with the Johnsons and have the fancy car, and obviously they're gonna go for a German car, luxury car, just like 40K.
Right.
Some people even go like every couple of years they just get a 40K car and go, oh no, I sold the old car, I kind of made a good deal in this. Now you increased your debt.
Right. Remember, you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh shit, Klaus Schwab actually did say some things where, like, in a comic book, this would maybe be a thing, like not in a adult comic or an adult story, but something written for like young teenagers. I can see that.
Right. Yeah, he's very much like a comic book villain.
All these people are. I mean,
Yeah.
either that or just super uncharismatic, like the German chancellor or the German president, who's, God, that dude. Like, if they drag me to war, I'm going to try to handcuff him next to me and say, like, we're going to be best buddies. No, you're going to the front lines with me. Like, get at least one of those dirty damn politicians. Just get him to the front line and be like, this is what you kind of bargained for. Now live through the consequence. Like, be the first politician who actually does that.
Yeah, if you could just send the politicians to the front lines.
Yeah, would be great. Like, all right, you have your playground. We're just gonna put a fence around it. Have some drones fly over to have fun. No, you're not getting rockets, but we can give you guns and shit, sure.
Right.
Now go play with your people there. Yeah, people are not gonna do that.
What's going on over in Austria?
COVID restrictions are getting easier next week.
Okay.
Officially, the mandates for the vaccination are still there, but obviously, like, since we are not going to have any, or almost no regulations starting on the 5th, you can go anywhere without a vaccine or something.
Right.
And we'll see. Like, our politicians are having scandal after scandal too. But the good thing is, the general part of the mood about this entire conflict is also, like, Austria, thanks to World War II and everything, has established in the constitution that they will remain neutral and that they will not be a part of NATO.
Good.
So, like, we do have kind of an army. It's not an army though. It's for self-defense and mostly emergencies. Like, they were actually helping with refilling the shelves when this entire madness started and everybody bought so much shit.
Right.
And yeah, also, like, when there's a flooding or something, or at first they hit on the test center, so it was just by the military.
I think we had some instances of that here happen where, like, the National Guard of, like, New York or something, they would, like, take over, like, a hospital or something and administer COVID tests or whatever. I remember at the beginning they, like, somebody, like, in New York City, they brought in, like, this battleship and used it as a hospital because they were expecting a bunch of people to end up in ICU or whatever, and of course that never happened, so that was completely pointless.
Well, at least that's better than what they did here. Here we do have, like, the army thing, so they could in Austria they did it a little bit more. In Germany, the politicians totally forgot about it. They could have actually. You can either go to the army for a year, or like, you were able to do that until 2011, and then they just ended it. Like, there's no forced draft. the age of 18, like you don't have to serve basically. But then you could either go for the military or you could go for some civil job and maybe a hospital or in a research center or something like. And if you go to a hospital, like you can still get drafted as a medic, obviously, or an assistant medic. And so they could have done that because like it literally says in the law, like it's for emergencies, and then they called that shit an emergency, and then they were like, we're not having enough staff. Like, oh, if you only had like this special thing you could do to staff up during an emergency.
Oh, look at that. We got a draft conveniently right here.
But nope, they didn't. And obviously, none of the German citizens criticized that about the politics. Oh, man. It's also so freaking cringe to read the German opinions about Ukraine right now. Like, it's...
The American ones, a lot of the American ones have been absolute garbage, too.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them, but if I compare them, like, the Germans just add this extra level of being morally right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and, like, they don't really have a sense of humor. Like, literally, the meme is true. Like, you talk to them, the way they do comedy, they're going to make fun of other people, but not themselves. So it's not really this kind of thing. Some comedians do it, and they are very niche and everything, but they can make a living.
Right.
But it's not that big. So they go like, yeah, the morally right thing to do here because the poor people in Ukraine are suffering. It's always like this long-ass text. And as they put it as intellectual as possible. Like, they are very much afraid in their own essence as human beings and suffering. And it's so super dramatic, and just go like, oh my god, like just say that you have fucking empathy, man. Like, yeah.
There's someone over here. Yeah, there reminds. There's someone over here who has this quote that says something to the effect of, the difference between the right and the left is that, or conservatives and liberals is that a conservative, you ask a conservative a question, he'll tell you what he thinks or whatever, and a liberal will give you a speech.
Yes.
I don't remember who said that, but it's accurate.
It is. Totally is. And then and in that case, like the kind of entire country became a bit. And so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe there will be a European army, and then, I mean, if NATO goes into this, it's assured this is gonna become a way, way, way bigger thing than it already is. The moment NATO enters, that's the escalation point, or it escalates further.
Yeah, I don't think that. Well, we're certainly. I don't think a nuclear war is going to happen. But
I don't know if it's going to be nuclear, but like the other day we talked about. I mean, China is doing its thing towards Taiwan again. There are rumors that China is obviously now planning to invade Taiwan since NATO is kind of busy, keeping their eyes on the entire Ukraine situation. And you could totally use a nuke not to impact, but actually explode it in high altitude to cause an EMP.
Oh yeah, there. I mean, with Russia over the Ukraine, I don't think it's going to get that bad, but
I mean, obviously, people here are worried about it because it's so close.
Right.
Could be that it's over in like 10 days, but it's definitely going to end with Putin having sacked in either the entire Ukraine or the really important parts for him. It's going to be basically half the country.
Yeah.
I mean, they armed like the Ukrainian president now lifted all the gun restrictions, and people are able to use machine guns and whatever.
Yeah, the Ukrainian government is literally just handing out machine guns to whoever shows up to fight. So, in other news, I identify as Ukrainian now. I'm going to go over there, get some AKs, defend the homeland, come back. I got AKs for everybody, and possibly Ukrainian wife.
I had to watch this clip of CNN news anchor who interviewed someone and was literally about that, allowing guns, and his face was the best because it was one of the news anchors who was like the Second Amendment. They get it wrong and everything. In this instance, he
Right.
couldn't say anything against it anymore.
Nope. Oh, look at that. We were right the entire time.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who would have thought?
Yeah. 2A. Is that the
New all
reason why
day, baby.
is that the reason why the Japanese never really attacked the mainland of the United States?
Yeah, there's that quote that's attributed to Hirohito, Emperor Hirohito, but I've heard that someone else actually said it, where it's like there's a rifle behind every blade of grass in the United States or something like that.
Yeah. And you don't really, it's harder to invade a place where the people are armed themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody really invaded Germany or Austria right now, I think we don't have as many weapons. So probably would end up kind of easy.
Yeah.
Although,
How are the gun laws in Austria? I know in Germany you basically can't own guns if you're a civilian. But Austria, I have no idea.
kind of the same. Like, I mean, you could get an unregistered, you could get a shotgun. Basically, it's way easier than getting a 9mm, but you still need two separate safes for ammo and the gun
They do
itself.
that dumb shit because because ammo just goes off on its own.
Totally. No, it's more like, well, you really should think about it before you use it. So if somebody tries to break in my home.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait around and to see if they're just trying to steal something or they're trying to hurt me. Like, no, like, I'm not waiting around for that. Get out of here.
Like they come in, you go like, wait, I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I'm gonna open the one safe, and then we are both armed.
Yeah, right. Like I'm gonna do that. There was some idiot who had a Twitter thread about that, saying, it's the usual. You care about your property than someone else's life, and it's like, no, you don't break into people's shit.
Exactly.
How about that?
Like, and if you do, then there's got to be consequences. Like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
It's usually you think that people should learn from their parents, but not everybody grows up in a good environment. So, like, even like the wrong friends when you're a teenager. Like, we have so many young people who try to be gangsters over in Europe, and then they just go into a criminal career. Sorry? What?
I said they're not cut out for it.
Yeah.
That gangster life.
Oh, I mean, like, if you really look into the bad areas, like, it's definitely tough. But
that's interesting though, because over here people think that a lot of like most European countries are basically utopias where there's no crime and everyone's got free healthcare and all that. But then you talk to someone like you and you say, look, here's what's actually going on here, and it's like, no, it's like nothing like what people think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely pros and cons, and obviously you will still live in kind of rich countries, but Western Europe, like with certain jobs, you could get property. But then you look at the property and you go like, if you go somewhere else, you could get a better house. You could get like good land with the possibility that you can start farming or gardening.
Right.
Although, like with hydroponic gardening, you can also get useless land and just start doing that. Like that's a very cool system.
Yep.
I think I'm going to try that and start growing some jalapenos in April. And just see if that works out. If it works out, I'm going to have jalapenos, which is nice.
There you go. You grow enough, you could probably sell them.
Oh God, no, I'm not.
No.
The thing is, like, as soon as you start to have an extra job here, or like anything like a side hustle that's kind of official, you could either try to make it unofficial with small things you will probably not show. But as soon as you go into the official side and it's just gonna be a hassle. Which, like, they will tax you more. You get into a higher tax rate than anything. So, like, this old principle of the more you work, the more you earn. It's kind of another thing.
Right. Because I heard years ago that I think in like Germany and other similar countries, like most people, like most entrepreneurs don't, not necessarily, well, I guess they don't really go like all the way like a lot of entrepreneurs do here, because you get to a certain point, you get so much of your money taxed that it's just not even worth it.
Yeah, and you
So then, like, they
either
get to a certain point, they just go, okay, I'm done. I'm not
yeah
doing it anymore.
like you're gonna stay in your position. The exchange for that is the kind of security you have where you don't really fall out of the system. But the migration situation, anything like, if you have a social security system like this, you cannot take an unlimited number of people in your country and implement them in the system. It's not going to work. Money is going to be gone at some point.
Right.
And we already see the effects of that. I mean, I've heard from the United States too that you have long waiting periods if you want to get an appointment with a specialist or something. Same thing over here. And if you want to get good treatment, you basically got to go to a private doctor. If you do that and you
Pretty
pay
much, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with dental stuff. So, like, you got to pay for a lot of that. If you want to get a good cleaning or something, you got to pay for that. And you pay like a shit ton of money for the healthcare.
Yeah. You know, and there are alternative systems here that do exist to help alleviate the costs. Or, you know,
Yeah.
I guess there are some doctors who are kind of outside of the system, and it's like, hey, you just pay me this. You just, you know, give me a monthly fee or maybe like a yearly fee, and you're covered the entire year or month or whatever you negotiate with a doctor.
Yeah, but it would be cool to have like black market doctors to go to this warehouse and they're the same. These doctors with the shades and go like, "Hey, you want a treatment, man?" Go like, dude, oh, totally. Do you have like a X-rays? Oh, dude, we totally do.
Yeah, but then there are like certain medications or whatever that are just expensive as all get out because of government and the insurance,
Yeah,
mafia, what have you.
yeah. Like medicine wouldn't need to be as expensive. I saw something about insulin, and it could be a lot more cheaper actually than it currently is.
Yeah.
But it's also funny, like where I've seen some American being like, "Oh, in Europe you get the insulin for free." No, you still pay for it, and you got to look at the prices because the price is obviously going to influence how hard it's going to hit the health insurance.
Right.
And the insulin prices is like it's about the same as in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. So not really a lot cheaper. And this is also why I think that the social system's running out of money and everything. Like, there's definitely interest in war because Germany is definitely a big arms dealer.
Yeah, you have like H and K. They're a big
Yeah, and
arms manufacturer over there.
like supposedly South Korea is one of the biggest customers of Germany, but there's no local market because there's no gun culture in Germany.
Right.
And I think if you try to analyze the numbers and anything, some things don't really add up. So rumors have it that if you look into certain countries in the African continent and look at certain groups, that there's a good chance that it's going to be made in Germany seal on the weapons they have.
Yeah, like H and K, they sell many of the weapons here, but there are like things that people really want that they don't sell, like the G36, which is their like assault rifle, so to speak. Yeah, a lot of people want that, but I think from what I understand, it's because of fucking Germany's import and export laws when it comes to arms that they can't sell a lot of their stuff. And it's like if you just get rid of those, then there are, especially over here, there are a lot of people who would buy that stuff in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the laws kind of forbid it, but I've heard things that there are some terrorist groups or anything that for some reason have those, or they can make special deals with Saudi Arabia. And there was this case with Saudi Arabia or Turkey. They've gotten tanks from Germany,
Oh yeah.
and then they just kind of abandoned them, and ISIS got them.
Yep, just kind of like how we botched Biden botched the Afghanistan withdrawal and left the Taliban with, a good military equipment.
Oh yeah, and apparently some LSD, as it seems, because I mean now the Taliban said like, Russia, Ukraine, you should fight a peaceful way. Like, is this where the point of history where we see hippie Taliban? Is that gonna happen?
Oh boy!
Imagine that, like if they just got super high on acid for like the next for a good period, and then they go like, I think we kind of shouldn't do a couple of things we did before. It kind of sucks, man.
Yeah. They just kind of mellow out. It's like, yeah, we're done with this radical Islam nonsense.
Dude, like the one night for 16 hours we were just dancing, man. It was kind of awesome. Why do we forbid dancing? I don't get it.
And they have a lot of poppy fields in Afghanistan too, so.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's never been about the drugs in Afghanistan. Absolutely not. It's just about the lithium and some other resources. What are the other resources? We can't tell.
Right.
What? Politicians getting into the drug trade? No, that would never happen.
Oh, wait.
So, let's see.
Oh boy, the world is absolutely insane right now.
Yeah. And the main reason for that is that we all let ourselves be governed by some really dumb politicians, and people just don't go to the part where it's like, what the fuck?
Right.
I mean, apart from libertarian values and anything, like it would be a good start. It would be a really good start to just look at how much money the politicians get, and then people just generally getting upset about what they do, and that they do not have a lot of competence in whatever they decide. And just put your fist on the table and go like, motherfuckers, I don't care from what party you are, but if you are not capable of having like the basic agreement in this kind of relationship we're having here, like if you fuck up building roads or screwing up the infrastructure, this is the minimum requirement for your job. This is not up for negotiation.
Yeah, that shit never gets reported. You'll never see people talk about that on CNN. Yeah. Or how like it just like past couple of months there was that bridge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that collapsed, and yeah, the money that was supposed to go to repairing it, yeah, that didn't happen. There are people who wanted to repair, like, and you see these people say, taxes are the price we pay to live in society, and it's like, what about the roads? And it's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
where'd that taxpayer money go for that bridge? Oh, someone's pocket.
Yeah, I mean, the most legendary story about that is still like how Domino's actually started to repair the roads because the government wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Domino's sponsored road. That's kind of awesome.
And I've heard a lot of other stories, not just roads, like the homeless population and the homeless crisis, not population, and other things. There's a video by Reason TV on YouTube about this dude named Elvis Summer out in California who he was building these like little shelters for homeless people to leave their stuff whenever they went out to like go to their like Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or whatever. he started building these little shelters for him. They're like $1,200 a piece. So he started a GoFundMe to do it, and they got a lot of support.
Yeah.
And the city of LA, they started their own like initiative to tackle the homeless crisis there. And that same day they had like police or whatever go around and like take these little shelters that this dude built and basically destroy them. And it's like, what am I watching here? What's going on?
Yeah. It's such a typical story. Like, it's really the government is literally behaving like this super toxic and highly jealous partner.
Yeah. That
No,
you can't get away from.
Yeah. Oh my God, no, I told you I will do this. Destroy. So yeah, it's to say, in Germany, there's some projects where they kind of allow it. But I mean, there's also this thing that a lot of people who don't are out of money are doing is obviously like containering. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I'm not familiar.
So like grocery stores, they look at the date when food runs bad and everything, and then they just throw it away. It doesn't mean that the food necessarily is rotten, though. But it just
Right,
gets into
especially
the
if it's
containers.
sealed, it'll last way longer than the expiration date.
Yeah, or like with vegetables and fruits, they go like, oh, it doesn't look as good anymore, but you could still eat it actually.
Right. Yeah, some places started to just like give it away or whatever, but then government steps in and
yeah,
don't allow that.
exactly. The same thing here, and so the finance office, because like the finance office is usually just very afraid that, oh my God, if we cannot have people sell that because of the way how you would sell the shit, we could not have our controlling system in the way we have it now. So literally just throw it. Like there was this farmer now recently, close to Cologne, and like he had some pumpkins he grew, and they weren't right. So supermarkets would like the suppliers wouldn't just buy it from him, but they were totally fine to eat. Like there was nothing wrong with it.
Right.
But he couldn't sell it on his own ground because like government. And so he just made a social media post like, guys, if you go there and take a pumpkin, like I'm not gonna call the police. I will not care. It's this field, there's the address. You've got this information, do whatever you want.
Yeah, do what you will with it.
Yeah. And it's so sad. Like, I mean, sometimes in the rural areas where they don't control it, you have small villages or something, you have these stands which they put out with just a tin box where you would put the money in, and then they just sell some jam or apples, like basic something they're farming anyway.
Yeah, like a farmer's market type thing.
Exactly, and no tax office involved or anything because it's too far out, so they don't really show up there.
Right. Because I here's some like actual physical cash, or maybe they do like Cash App, or maybe even some of them do crypto, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Here are the prices.
About get what crypto, you want. The European Union is pushing for banning Bitcoin.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I think China tried that like 2 or 3 different times.
I think it is banned in China, but it's the same with VPNs.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah. I mean,
here they're trying to crack down on crypto too over here, but I mean, that's the point of it. That's exactly why it's decentralized.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was the initial idea to begin with. Like, I remember the Fortune threats in 2011, like during and before the Occupy Wall Street protest, and we were just, oh yeah, we were just talking about currencies and everything. And the funniest shit, like back then, I thought I was a socialist because I haven't read anything from any other political side because it's so hard to get by these informations in countries where the intellectual elite is just socialist, majorly socialist. But then we talked about, like, there was this project in Spain where you would sign in online and you would have time preference. Like, you go working for a certain amount of hours, and then you had this account with like, blah, blah, blah. I worked a certain amount of hours with this, and it's kind of worth like this workforce, whatever thing. And we tried so hard to not call it money or a currency, but it basically just functioned as one. And somebody would go like, oh my god, if we just had this, thing which had value and I could just exchange it without a bank, so like currency without a central bank.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's not money. Yeah, totally, it's not money. But, yeah, but that's the point about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny when you have all these shills being like, no, central banking is good, inflation is good, low interest rate is good. No, it's not.
Yeah, I remember there was this CNBC, I think it was, they put out an article months ago. The silver lining for inflation, higher wages was the headline. And it's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's not how inflation works.
It's like, yeah, I got a pay raise. That's because everything's expensive now, so you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But
But
people, and I see people try to make that argument in places like California or like New York, where the cost of living is like stupid high. They go, well, they pay you a lot. It's like, yeah, because they have to, because otherwise you'd be homeless.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter how big the number is. But I mean, people apparently totally forget about history. Like, I mean, the best example for that would be the Reichsmark. It's like you go out in the morning working, and then you have like a huge sack of just bills in the evening, and you just would run to the bakery, hoping you could still use all of that money to get a bread.
Right.
That never happened. Why would that happen? And even throughout history, like with printing money and everything, at one point, it was like 2,000 years ago, maybe even longer. Like China was actually the first country or the first place to start having printing money and having this currency idea. At first, like they were like, "Oh, it's working," and then collapsed.
I got to look into that. That's interesting.
Some in the early history of the Chinese Empire, and just like, oh, any time in history somebody printed money, it wouldn't work.
That's funny. I don't know. I don't think y'all have this over here, but like over here in America, we had this thing. It's part of Disney. It's called DuckTales. So it was like Donald Duck and his like nephews or whatever. It was a whole show about them. And there's one episode.
It was really big here, like especially my generation.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you are familiar with it. So there was this one episode where they basically tackled the concept of inflation, where I guess they were like given an allowance or whatever. And then there was somebody who had invented this thing that kind of like clone stuff. So what they started doing is like cloning their money. And lo and behold, what happened was people started charging out the ass for literally everything. And it's like, yeah, welcome to inflation and the Federal Reserve. And yeah.
And the latest South Park episode is kind of about that. Or the one from last week. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. It's just like the basic concept is like things are happening because a lot of the city people are moving to the rural side, and the way they portray the city people, it's great. Like the city people, they don't really speak; they just have these catchphrases they use. Like road, Tesla, Apple, Wi-Fi. Yep, that's accurate. Oh god, they are the new season is so damn good again. It's not disappointing.
I haven't watched South Park in a while, so I have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, like they actually went back to having kind of an episodic thing. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the inflation thing, like, I mean, in Germany, they now increased the minimum wage, and it's always so funny to see the people go like, "Oh, minimum wage and anything." Like, we didn't have the state supplied minimum wage when I started working, and my $800 I've earned are worth what's like maybe now at 1,200, 1,300.
Wow.
Yeah. So like it's just. Yeah, if people would keep track of what they paid like 15 years ago for shit, compared to now. They would be like,
Yeah.
oh, if we do this math thing now and see like for how much, like in a percentage way, how much the costs increased, they would be like, the cost increased more than what I got from the minimum wage. Maybe that was a bad idea.
Right.
No, people won't do that. Like, I mean, the other day we had a fight with or discussion in German about I think minimum wage and something like that.
Right.
What was it again? Oh, no, about like tax rates, like how bad the tax rates are actually, and even with the hidden taxes. And in Germany, you've got this thing like you've got after taxes, of course, but there are two different after taxes. There's the one you see on your receipt for work, and then there's the actual one is only something your employer will see.
Right.
So you gotta account a lot more cost than you actually see billed for you. And this is why people are like, no, I'm not paying 30, 50% taxes and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually, you do. If you look into the entire book holding thing, it's kind of like 50%, even if you are low income.
Right. It's like over here we have like payroll tax, which, you know, that's not something like if I pull up my ADP app and pull up a pay stub, it'll show me like federal tax that was taken out, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. It'll show me that stuff, but it won't show me like payroll tax or whatever. And that's something that the company deals with. So
Exactly.
even though that may not be coming out of my paycheck, technically,
It kind of does. It's just like they try to make it as bureaucratic as possible. So it's like this fake out where it's like, no, on paper, we have the definition here. And by definition, this is totally not the case.
right.
They have a similar thing with the company of like a Deutsche Bahn, which is a private company. And the privatization went like, we're putting the stocks on the market, except we don't. And they just like there was not a single stock ever was on the market. Nobody was able to purchase any of them.
Wow.
And it's just in the hand of politicians, but it was like so they could make an international enterprise where they at one point actually went to Mexico and they tried to make deals where they would actually get a monopoly on logistics and transportation in Mexico, which also would mean that since it's kind of bound to the government of Germany, it obviously would also kind of mean like political influence, except they just won't fucking admit it. They just go like, oh, what? No, we didn't do that. We wouldn't. And you're just like, you cheesy assholes.
Yep. That's textbook fascism. It's the merging of the state and private enterprise. That's something that always annoys me whenever I see like these liberals on Twitter say, especially, okay, for example, with the Russia shit, like, we need to fight this war because democracy is good and fascism is bad. Or, they'll call like Trump a fascist or something. It's like, do you even know what the textbook definition of fascism is? Because it has nothing to do with Nazism. It has nothing to do with right-wing nationalism.
Yeah. I mean, those things are just words and people just use it to feel good.
Yeah, they use it. It's like, yeah, it's just kind of like you call someone racist. It's racist. Just like, oh, argument over. Nobody likes being called racist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just going to use, oh, shit, actually, fuck. Like that in the German government, there's this conservative party, right-wing leaning, and obviously they got totally getting called Nazis. To be fair, they actually have Nazis in their ranks. Like, it's not the entire party, but there definitely are some in there who are totally pro-eugenics and everything. To a degree, but there are also like minorities like Africans, and it's a mixed thing. It's just more conservative.
Right.
Hello there, Forest Mommy.
Oh shit, Forest Mommy in the chat.
Yeah, our only viewer.
I mean, this is being recorded as well, so people.
Yeah, I can't.
Somebody will find this at some point and hear us ramble.
Oh, and I don't expect my YouTube account to blow up anytime soon or become super big.
You got to keep at it. It'll eventually blow up. Forest Mommy's starting to blow up.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, but being a very attractive lady also helps.
That's, you know what? I would not disagree there.
Yeah. And so, like, the Conservative Party, like, they had one politician just talking about that Poland actually just lowered the taxes on gasoline. So the gas prices obviously went down. And a lot of other things went down too, because the cost of gasoline is totally not connected to anything, right?
Right.
And he just said that and just put out the numbers. And the dude from the Green Party literally just said, I'm not talking to National Socialists, and this is why I'm not answering.
Wow.
I mean, some young people just buy it, like, about like the COVID thing. We in Austria also have a Conservative Party, but they don't have, like, they are more mainstream because Austria in general is a little bit more, is way more conservative than Germany in some ways. Like,
Right.
it's not super bad, and it's not like if you're gay and you go to the countryside, you will get the shit beaten out of. Like, in some areas, definitely. Like, if you go to some remote village, which is like super, super backward, yeah, you just shouldn't go there, probably.
Yeah, probably just not a good idea to go there.
But like most areas, like even where I went hiking this weekend, I think if you go there and you're a gay couple or different ethnicity, like it's totally not going to be a problem.
Right.
Maybe you have one idiot, but if you just fit in and behave, it's going to work.
Yeah, I think that's true for most places. Not just in Austria, but like all over most places in the world.
Yeah.
Just don't be an idiot and you'll be fine.
Yeah, like it's literally like how Ed Latimer also said it in his guy, like, you want to get out of the ghetto, and I mean he's from the ghetto. So he kind of knows his shit, and he's like, yeah, first you got to drop the speech patterns, like, don't speak like I'm a real gangster and everything. Like, yeah, right. Drop that. It's not going to get you in any good position in a good career. Oh. Yeah, and so like I used some talking points of this Conservative Party's member from a speech to a friend, but I didn't tell her it was him. And she was like, oh, actually, that kind of makes sense. And I didn't tell her that it was like that. But right. Before that, she said, like, oh, this dude, I hate him. He's totally bad. I don't know where she's getting that. But the thing is, like, a lot of people just form an opinion on a politician or on a party without actually listening. Well, this is where the danger comes, like fake propaganda and everything.
Like, yeah, in the mainstream media, they'll clip something they said, take it out of context, and then that warps people's opinions on whoever or whatever.
Yeah. And as I said, like, I think we could use a lot more pragmatism in this freaking world, not this idealism, and especially not this thing where everybody tries to make everything political.
Right.
Okay. Agree that there are different political opinions, but I think a lot of people are just the filter bubbles, especially like if the fancy degree office job people, you have like HR saying like, you gotta behave like this, so everybody does. The working class, sure, in every working contract here they go like, you shouldn't be racist at anything, but then you work with people and from different cultures with different backgrounds. Some are more conservative or anything, so you will hear jokes and slurs that are definitely not politically correct.
Oh yeah.
I would say like this is a lot of young people should actually go and just work in a physical job.
Yeah, you'll see, like, you know, people say all kinds of crazy shit, but you know, most people get along.
Yeah,
especially in more blue collar jobs, you'll hear all kinds of crazy shit people say to each other.
I mean, it's
all in good fun.
I literally work with some people where a good chunk of the colleagues, of the Muslim colleagues, were was some from Afghanistan, somebody was from Kurdish, like he was Kurdish, and obviously as a Kurdish person, he was more pro Ataturk, so in a religious way, not as conservative. And yeah, then the Afghan people were like, oh yeah, we like the Taliban took over, and yeah, you will work with people who have these kind of opinions. You can choose if you want to make a political stance or if you actually like the workspace as it is right now and the money
Yeah.
you earn.
Like at my job, I'm pretty sure I'm the only I'm like certain I'm the only person there who's not left leaning at all. But politics doesn't come up hardly ever. So, it's like an afterthought. Like nobody's thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time you would probably like, I don't know, what's going to happen? You're going to have your break time. Somebody's going to have lunch. The topic is probably going to be lunch
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
or some work related stuff. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, it's probably gonna be more work related than anything.
So yeah, but having different opinions. It's, oh my God.
Yeah, but it's like up higher education's got younger people trying to be activists all the time, and it's like, can you not?
I mean, I would say like it's also like what I see with the more idealistic a person becomes, usually they don't have experience and practical skills, and I think it just helps to learn this kind of mindset you learn with even if you learn how to fix something, at home, like fix the piping or do anything by yourself, that you will know that there's a right way to do it, that there's a wrong way to do it, and there's no discussing that. There's no arguing about did I do the piping right? Like,
Right.
did you put the fittings in? Did you take the measurements? Does the water run through? Is nothing leaking? If you have this checklist done, yeah, it's working. You did it right.
Yeah, but these kids not going. A lot of kids aren't going in the fields like that. They're going into freaking gender studies and other useless fields
Sure. I
where
mean,
there's like no objective,
you don't necessarily have to go
objectively right
into,
or wrong way.
but you don't have to go into the field. You could like at least learn it from home.
Yeah,
Like
maybe
a
you got
def,
like a family member who does it, help them
yeah.
out or something.
Yeah. I mean, like it really is a helpful thing to know how to do certain things. Just around the house, maybe around a car if you have one,
Right.
like a bicycle. Like that's good if you know that. But apparently, that's not happening.
Nope.
Even in the place where I live, like my flatmates, I work in the kitchen, and they put the wooden spoons into the dishwasher. I'm like, no, they don't go into the dishwasher.
Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah, and I try to, but it's 1 against 3, so I'm like, whatever. The stuff I don't want to see in the dishwasher, I just got to take it back to my room and don't break my stuff, but otherwise, don't care.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll see. Like I'm planning to do maybe maybe I'm doing it tomorrow. I got to script it a little bit though. Something doing a little bit of video in Germany, just like guys. I know you're scared right now because obviously it's close and you're afraid, and we have a lot of shitty parents over here in Europe. Like people don't know that they have shitty parents, but if you have parents that will be more panic, having more panic than you do, then probably kind of suck.
Yeah.
Parents, it's a parent's job to be in especially situations like this, have a good role of listen and be like, yeah, I know that these are trying times and it sucks, but this shit happens.
Right.
Learn to live with your fear, but don't get paralyzed.
Right. But no, they're putting their kids in masks.
Yeah. I wonder how many parents just go like, oh my god, my child felt bad for a week. Time to get him drugged up because you got to be in a good mood all the time.
Yeah, and then they always putting them on medications they don't need.
Yeah. Sure, if you need medication, that's a good thing. But if you don't need it, also like in the subconscious way, it also teaches you to basically your instincts and emotions are kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Then you have studies of people like, why is the general self-esteem so bad? Gee, I wonder why. Like, did people learn that they could trust themselves? Did people learn how to introspect a little bit? Oh, they
Right.
didn't.
But then they just learned how to. The only thing they learned is how to medicate it away. This is like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, and function and just get the job that earns the right amount of money. Then it's a good life. Be a consumer. That's the right thing to do. Oh, and you totally go like you totally democratic. What? No, you don't got to think about it.
Yeah,
You just gotta claim it.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it, dude.
Thinking now done.
Thinking don't do that.
Hell yeah. Public school teachers are famously known for that. If anybody comes up with a critical question, they go like, what? Leave the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you know, what are you teaching the children to think? Obviously not.
You're right.
A friend of mine has since now started to work in a physical job. Like he came from working with children and now moved to Austria, got a physical job where he's doing some blue collar shit. Obviously, like there's some things he has to learn, a little bit of speed to pick up on too, and he also had from his boss like, dude, that thing you call thinking, just don't. Like it's a harsh thing to hear, but
right.
he already had this experience where he was like, I gotta admit, he's kind of right. And so, like, I mean, as humans, we have to learn anything. Like, we have to learn everything. I mean, it starts with work. The only thing we kind of do on instinct is breathing. And even
right.
that, even breathing can be done totally wrong. Like the basic thing you need to do to just really stay alive for the next couple of minutes.
Right.
You can screw that up. But yeah, gotta see what's happening. I don't have. It's interesting to see where this is going in Europe wise, but I'm not expecting a good outcome, to be honest.
No. Not at all.
For the good outcome, we really need to get rid of the sheer levels of incompetence.
Yeah.
Probably replace politicians with like some bored person who's like,
just put a dog in power.
I think that could work. Hey Charlie, what do you say we should do about this? All right. Should go outside.
Right, don't do it.
Yeah. I think the president said we should go outside and play fetch. All right, let's do that.
Yep.
What? We should totally dig holes?
And toss twigs everywhere?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but like as a human person, I mean, the best politicians would probably be the people who are like, fuck, I hate this job. I don't want to do it. Shit, it's so much work. But those would be the people who actually would do the work.
Right. Or do the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, the right thing is basically to do the basic thing. Like you're here for a basic function and not for giving political speeches and everything. Like keep basic shit running and mediate in between companies so they don't kind of build roads that are really dumb and don't make sense. Right. You're kind of a mediator here. It's definitely something people like Pelosi totally took to their heart.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, then it's so weird when you see the Twitter comments and you've got literal people being like, Pelosi, you're so great at anything. Like, they didn't even make it a secret that she made money out of freaking trading.
Yeah, there was that account her portfolio tracker account, which tracked her stock portfolio. That Twitter nuked that.
Yeah. Kind of the same thing with, I mean, obviously it's politicians are the same everywhere. Like the Chancellor of Germany actually has an investigation going on because it made a huge scandal with the company called Wirecard and lost a lot of money there and stuff like that. I mean, this is literally the dude that decided to host the G20 meeting in Hamburg, where he was like, we're going to be fine. Nobody's going to try to burn the city. And then Antifa burned the city.
Yikes. Y'all got Antifa out there, huh?
Yeah, but they will tell you there's no the Antifa, but funnily enough, once some groups or people land on list, there's kind of this email exchange they have, and suddenly there is a movement.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised, especially in the age of the internet. Of course, that shit's gonna get everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like a good thing to. I mean, like there are different layers of how you can be an Antifa. Like if you can be a really radical person, then you will probably meet some of the other radical people.
Yeah.
Or you can just, like they have these Antifa clubhouses, whatever, and it's usually really like you're gonna go there, somebody is gonna paint, and there's gonna be a party or something like that.
Right.
Like if they play electronic music, it's usually pretty dope. You want to go out and have fun and go dancing, yeah. I don't expect good political discussions there. You can talk about art, however.
Right.
Although right now, I don't know. Oh shit! Like I think we totally missed out on memeing the shit out of the fact that the new Lord of the Rings trailers just came out, and we could have pretended that Putin just attacked Ukraine because of that.
What just came out?
The Amazon's teaser for their Lord of the Rings show.
Oh. Yeah, and they just wokified that.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No, but I have not heard good things.
Yeah, like they actually race cast a black woman as a female dwarf, and funny is still like they probably expected people just to go berserk about the fact that she's a black woman. And they were like, okay, kind of weird, but the first thing we're going to be upset about is that in Tolkien's universe, female dwarfs have beards. She doesn't.
Right.
Oh god, no,
These motherfuckers are ruining everything.
Yeah, we've seen it with CW shows and all of that shit.
Yep.
All like
So,
the new Marvel movies.
Whoever may be watching this at some point in the future, if you don't like the fact that Amazon and Disney and Netflix and all these other motherfuckers are ruining shit you grew up with, like Disney kind of ruined Star Wars. I've been a Star Wars fan for years now. It's time to start creating your own media, I think.
I mean, the one thing you can still enjoy as a Star Wars fan is the Legend stuff, because Disney ain't touching that.
The what?
The Legend stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff I primarily stick to now.
Like I've put a lot of time into the Old Republic.
Yes. Big fan of the KOTOR games.
Yeah, they are good. And like the MMO is also like the stories you can play. They're definitely good. They're very Star Wars-ish, traveling the planets and everything. It's totally good.
Yeah, my camera just shut off. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
Nice. Yeah, so Disney IPs. I don't know. I kind of still hope that we at one point Warner Brothers is gonna be like, okay, we're doing the Snyder universe.
Oh boy.
I mean, so far I enjoyed everything I've watched from no, not everything I watched from Zack Snyder. Like the Netflix thing he did, I was like, it's okay, it's enjoyable, but it's not as good as his other movies.
Right.
But this is one thing I didn't know about Zack Snyder is like he's a huge Ayn Rand fan. He loves Atlas Shrugged.
Who is?
Zack Snyder loves Atlas Shrugged.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a fan of the objectivist thinking, like, and it totally makes sense when you watch the movies and the character arcs because he's definitely about the individualist aspect of it.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the Snyder cut versus the Justice League movie, the Whedon cut was just.
I haven't seen any of the DC stuff.
Really? Not even Man of Steel?
No. I don't know. I paid attention to some of the Marvel stuff and got burnt out. Like after Avengers Endgame, I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I used to be a huge DC fan until they also fucked up the comics.
Yep. They're ruining those too.
We're gonna insert this character and blah blah blah, and I mean, DC literally started with the CW shows, and they're just so bad.
Stop ruining our shit. Well, it's not ours, but stop ruining the media that we grew up with and loved. Nothing is sacred anymore.
Shout out to Doctor Who. Yeah, I mean, we got to find some alternatives and enjoy that. But it would be really cool to have like a counter Hollywood thing.
Yeah, I think that might. It seems to have finally someone got the ball rolling on that. It seems. I don't know if you saw, but Gina Carano, she was in The Mandalorian. Then they fired her over a tweet or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then she went with Daily Wire to do some stuff, and they have a movie coming out called Terror on the Prairie.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. I mean, like The Mandalorian was great.
Right.
They really got something right there. But I mean, season 3 with her, like she really was an integral character, and they just fired her.
Right, and they just fired her.
And then they go like, "Oh, the strong women." I don't know. Well, Gina Carano seems
not
like
those strong women.
Yeah, not the really strong ones. We need these people with low self-esteem, with their shoulders high and super insecure, and because they are the actual strong people.
Right. But I am excited to see what that Terror on the Prairie, that looks really interesting. And I hope they did it right. That's all I can say right now.
Enjoyable and a fun story to watch. Did I see any movie trailer this year? I think I remember like some that I've seen like 1 or 2 movies where I was like, I'm actually interested in those. But last year, yeah, the Snyder Cut was one thing that I definitely enjoyed last year. I actually did enjoy the new Matrix movie. I totally understand if people didn't.
Right.
It makes sense to me. But yeah, it's like, I mean, also they did have the cast from this Netflix show called Sense8, which I totally loved, and so I was totally happy to see them again. Pop culture. I mean, I think I can think of, I can definitely come up with more recent music that came out that is actually good, and the music market still has this kind of independent thing going for itself. Like,
yeah,
you can work.
It's a lot easier than it was in the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s to go independent.
I mean, it's still kind of hard. Like, if there's still the deals on like on which songs are what our artists are gonna get played on radio stations.
Right.
I mean, Although, like, I mean, there are private stations like KEXP, which definitely manage to showcase new and interesting bands. Like yeah, I subscribe to the YouTube channel of KEXP, and just sometimes I just look at some performance. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I like this.
Right.
And see, they usually don't really talk a lot about politics too, which is
Good. There's just
yeah,
some
like
things you should probably just leave politics out, please.
I went to a concert in 28. When was it? I think 2018. Like I watched Metric in Vienna,
Okay.
and at one point Emily Haynes took a break and she was like, "Don't be hateful" and blah blah blah, and kind of giving a political speech. And I said,
Uh,
people were cheering, and I was like, I'm actually here for the music. I don't care about your political opinions, to be honest.
right.
I'm so glad when there's some concerts which just don't do that.
Yeah. That's nice. I'm just here to see some musicians perform. I don't care about their cause,
Yeah,
their political cause.
yeah, like, dude, I'm here to have fun, and music is kind of it's escapism. I don't want to. If you want to do something political, just write a freaking song, man.
Right.
If I'm going to a punk concert, yeah, obviously I'm gonna expect political lyrics on a punk concert. It's gonna be a thing.
It's just hilarious for punk music now because back in the day they were considered, anti-authority, anti-establishment. Now it's pro-establishment. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, that age well. What happened?
You mean like bands like Rage for the Machine?
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine.
Or yeah, I mean, like, you also got the big labels behind that.
Yeah, that is true.
And the two biggest bands I can think of that never really take any big political stances are Rammstein and Muse. Like Rammstein, I mean, Rammstein has this history of, like, they obviously love to provoke, and there's some German journalists who just don't like him.
Right.
So they try to, and Rammstein is totally playing with that scandal thing. Like, they usually think of, like, how could we trigger them, like with their last album, where they just released some titles of the songs. Obviously, the first song on the album had to be Deutschland.
That's what I was thinking of.
But the next one was even better. Like, the next one was Ausländer, which is foreigner. And of course,
fuck with people. That's funny.
yeah, the best thing was that this song Ausländer wasn't even about, like, people coming in. It was actually about German sex tourists going to other places like Thailand or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they can totally play that. And the Deutschland song was just a good, very good sum up about this entire thing. Like, it's kind of a love and a hate letter to the country.
Right.
And like, there's some really well hidden things in the music video. Like, at the one point where you have this riot scene, you actually see an Antifa with a Nazi officer throwing over a car.
I gotta watch that video again. It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's good. I mean, if I was lucky enough to see him live in 2019, literally the last concert I ever went to before this entire.
Yeah, the last concert I went to was back in 2019, and then months later, the world ended.
Although now you can actually go to concerts again, depending on where you go. I'm gonna be on a festival.
I missed out on a concert I was really looking forward to in October because the venue decided they wanted everyone who was attending to be vaccinated, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then the act that I mainly wanted to see, their tour got postponed to this year, and the act that I wanted to see, they got kicked off the ticket, and they didn't even know why. So it's like, well, fuck, I just wasted like $35.
It's still like, it's an okay price. Like, we've had like a couple of friends and me. A couple of friends of me and me. We've been holding tickets for Rammstein for 2020.
Wow.
But it's they did a replacement concert. I think they tried last year. This year, the good thing news is that the tickets we are holding are for Poland, and it's a little bit Poland is a little bit more less panicking with restrictions about COVID and everything. I think only when you travel and you kind of need something. My friends from Germany, like they can just meet up in Berlin, take a car, and just go over like some village border or something over to Poland, and just then ride through the country to get there.
Right.
And I'm going to be on a festival, and oh, there's going to be two. Yeah, a festival and a concert I want to attend to.
Yeah, I gotta find some concerts to go to because it's been a good almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I totally missed that. But I also want to go to a venue where they don't have this weird thing where they put you like, no, I want to stand in the crowd.
Right.
It's
Yeah, there's like
important.
socially distanced shows. I've seen some of those crop up, and it's like, huh? Well, this
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Like especially if you go to like a rock concert and it's a little bit heavier, like it's not going to be as much fun if you don't have a mosh pit.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, this is why I'm definitely going to Hungary for the festival and to Slovakia for the concert. It's just going to be
This is
better.
bizarre to me that you got to go to like a whole other country to go to a show.
Oh
That's
no,
just absolutely insane.
I mean I could also go here, but other thing is like the festival is like way cheaper than the festival here, and I'm mostly there for a headliner.
Right.
And the other concert is just like it's yeah, the other concert is from an artist I wanted to see, and it's like when it comes to going out, I prefer to either go to Hungary or like maybe Czech Republic or Slovakia, just because we have a certain problem in the big cities here where it's not so pleasant.
Right. Yeah,
Compared
it's the
to
same here. Big cities suck.
the last time I went out in Slovakia was magical. People just had a blast. It was a good mood. You felt safe.
This-
I mean, as a man, obviously, I don't have to worry about like these dudes being like, honey, okay. But you definitely have some people who are looking out for a fight, and it's not like they want to get in a fist fight. They literally want to destroy you. So it could be that they remember your face or even take a fucking picture. And even if you win that fight, they're gonna find you again and bring a lot of people.
Yep. That's scary.
Yeah, it's freaking annoying. Like, guys, don't you know 1v1? Good old, like if you lose it, you lose it.
Right.
Be a man, deal with it. They go like, no, we want to destroy you. I want to prove what kind of a man I am. It's like, cool. So if you go to street fight and if you end up in a fight, you just cannot just beat somebody up. You have to brutally kind of destroy them.
Right.
Yeah, no, nah, definitely going to a place where the worst risk is like a broken nose.
Right.
It can always happen. Like you look wrong at somebody, somebody has a bad day, breakup is totally drunk, and then yeah.
Right. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, like you'll heal through it.
Yeah, the world is completely upside down and
Totally is.
backwards.
Yeah, gonna see. We got to see what's going to happen out of it. The one thing I'm actually excited for them to see in the next 40 years is what the hell is going to happen to South America, because there's some interesting developments going on there.
Really.
Yeah, and a lot of migration too.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I know El Salvador has been crypto friendly, but
Yeah. Like one of the to-go countries for a lot of Germans. This is what they actually did an article about, that is Paraguay.
is ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I think it's fairly easy to get the citizenship and everything. Like, and since our politicians already kind of talked to having a similar system to the United States, where they put certain taxes not just on where you live, but also on your passport.
Wow.
It's like, yeah. It's like, even if you leave, you still gotta pay us.
Yeah, it's bullshit, dude. That is such bullshit.
Yeah, the day I'm finally getting rid of this damn citizenship, I'm gonna be so happy.
Quit stealing our money, politicians, and then just wasted it on God knows what.
Yeah. It's great when people also go like, well, what would you do with the money? Like, I don't, if I would fucking burn it, that's kind of my business.
Right.
This is the best thing oh my God, like there's some statists who literally come with the argument. People are not responsible with their money. Sure, but don't take making bad decisions and getting the responsibility for it away from people.
Right. And politicians are not responsible with our money either.
Yeah. Where did that go? Like one dude did an entire series about how the German government wastes taxpayer money, and you watch that shit, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah, same bullshit we deal with here. Just
Yeah.
here's this new raising taxes because we gotta get the homeless off the street, and then it ends up in someone's pocket instead.
Oh, we
The
gotta
homeless
save
crisis. The homeless crisis gets worse, and it's like,
what? People become homeless because they cannot pay rent anymore? What kind of stupid bullshit is that?
right.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, the homeless numbers in Austria have increased to, and like in the age group of 20 to 30. Which is,
Yeah, it's sad, really.
it is. It is. But it's also hard to get. Like I tried to get in a program which is for if I worked officially worked as a carpenter for like at least 3 years, I could get into the program. But this is the minimum requirement, and they don't have the option where just test your skills and go like, maybe we can try you out for a day and see if you got the skills because you grew up with this kind of trade. And yeah, no, not gonna happen. So got to play the long game.
Yeah, and that could be for a whole multitude of reasons why. It's hard to just point to one.
Yeah, totally. But the job markets are definitely like if you do too much bureaucracy on it and you make it inaccessible, obviously you're not going to find a lot of people getting into these.
Right.
And it's hard to enough as it is to find people in the trades.
Yeah, especially here.
Same here. It's a global problem right now in the West.
Yeah, like over here, they're pushing people go to school, get a degree, and be a doctor, be a lawyer, or and that's all fine and all, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like we also need people. People got to build these hospitals and build the law offices and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like people forget how much fun the trades can be. Like it's definitely physical work. It's definitely tough work, but
but if you like working with your hands, then I go full send in the trades. I would recommend.
Yeah. Plus, there's good money in it. I mean, like freaking plumbing right now. If you play it smart and you do some side jobs,
there are plumbers that are millionaires here.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, I can totally see how you get 100K. Like, you want a six-figure job? Get into plumbing.
Yep.
And but I'm in California. I've seen a video of like some carpenter from California was totally complaining like, yeah, we don't earn enough and anything. It was like, yeah, because you're in fucking California, man.
Right. God, there's so much wrong with that state. And the real tragedy is it's a beautiful state.
Yeah. I mean, Germany has great landscape, too shitty politicians. Austria has less shittier politicians. And a stunning landscape, obviously.
Right. And you all got all those old castles there, too.
Oh, yeah, if you're into castles. But if I'm more into nature and mountains. But
right.
I mean, like the next mountain, the Alps are 100 kilometers away from me southwards. So there's going to be a lot more hiking this year. And
That's something
Beautiful
I should
lakes.
probably do more. So I need to hike more.
Yeah, it's good and it's fun and it calms you down. I mean, when you're up in the mountains, the only thing you hear is the surroundings. No highway, no city shit.
Yeah, no cars, no. Right.
Yeah, it's very calming and beautiful. And once you get a good up to a good spot and you have a nice view, but even if you go hiking on a cloudy day and you get up to a mountaintop or something, it's still beautiful.
Right.
And look, to everybody listening, especially the harder the times become, like find some nice spaces, go outside, calm down.
Yeah. They told you for
Maybe,
2 years not to go outside. It's time to just stop. Just go outside.
yeah. Oh yeah, like in Germany, they actually forbid people going on a hike. With like, but the COVID, like a friend of mine, he's usually going solo.
Yeah, it's like you're literally miles from anyone. What are you talking about?
But you could spread COVID in the middle of
To who?
fucking nowhere, being alone.
Yeah, this whole if it's one thing that's clear to us, especially people like us, is that none of this was about health. It was just about control. That's all.
Yeah, but people following orders and everything. And it's so good to see the articles that just come out like, we are withholding information because you could misinterpret any of this.
Right.
Misinterpret, like, sure. And if we start actually censoring shit, people gonna find out about it. They're totally gonna trust us, right?
Yep, and to try that, lab leak. People got banned off social media for suggesting that it came from a lab. Then, and then they kind of just admitted that it came from a lab. Fauci funded the damn thing.
Yeah.
But no accountability for any of those responsible.
Oh no, they
Or,
don't have
how
to.
just countless lives got destroyed. People lost their businesses, their homes.
Yeah.
People couldn't see their loved ones who were in the hospital dying of whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the general thing about like, oh, blah blah, but the hospitals and everything, like, okay, but they also like, they think they did it in the United States too, but here they also downstreamed on like just even staff and stations and all of that. But yeah, the way with the numbers and all these weird discussions. I mean, kind of glad they are also stopping the entire thing here, at least temporary. So I really don't have to worry about it for a couple of months, like half a year or something.
Right. Probably in the next 6 months. I don't know. I feel like this COVID is just finally coming to an end. But then they're going to talk about climate change. That's the next thing that's coming. Get prepared for them telling you not to drive your cars during the week because climate change or something stupid like that.
Oh yeah, it's already happening here. I mean, like with the gasoline prices, they just gasoline obviously is not going to get more expensive too because of the entire crisis situation. Then they had to put additional taxes, and this is this weird thing. Like the prices for a lot of shit go up, and they just go like, no, we can't lower the taxes, but we want to help poor people. Yeah, if you wouldn't make shit as expensive, you would help
Right.
poor people.
Honestly, and funny thing is, lowering taxes would probably help more people. Well, would actually help poor people more than raising them.
Yeah.
If you don't take their money, suddenly they can afford more things. It's funny how that works.
Like, yeah, some people will still make bad choices, even. But that's like that argument, like, we gotta give them government money. Like they already spent their money, which they had shitty. It's not like it's suddenly going to change when the government just gives them money and it's like, oh, we're taking care of you.
Yeah, at some point you just got to let people make their bad decisions and hope they either learn from them or not. But
and the more you have a system that catches up their bad decisions and they don't have to fear the consequences.
Yeah, this like nanny state, we like to call it.
There are definitely some people being homeless right now. I think if you would make the job market more accessible and have less of a social state and a little less control, I think they could figure that shit out for themselves and wouldn't end up on the streets. And then you have some people who don't end up on the streets, which just live in some flats, but also eat up all the welfare money and do nothing.
Right.
I mean, I'm on welfare money right now, too. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
If it's there, and we do have these weird regulations. I wish I could just go to some workplace and go like, "Hi, it's me." There,
Right.
but I mean, you can introduce yourself, but it still takes like 2 or 3 weeks for the paperwork to get through. So like, it's not like you would be able to start on the next day.
Right. Unless someone was paying you under the table, in which case they'd probably tell you to start now.
Yeah, that would be dope. No, I mean, there's a good chance I'm going to end up in a leasing company, which is not a bad thing. The only annoying thing is that they don't, like, all the companies here give you your salary like once a month. And the leasing companies, they don't do it until the normally you would get your pay like on the first of the next month after. Leasing companies go like, no, it's going to be the 15th.
I've heard that, like, especially in the UK, it's like you get like they just like throw you a month's worth of pay, which here in the States, it's like a week or 2 weeks you get a check.
I don't know.
So it's just kind of bizarre. It's just bizarre to me that their monthly checks are a thing. That's just kind of bizarre to me, but
Yeah. It's really annoying. I'm going to be so glad once I make it out of this thing. So done with Europe.
Yeah, come over here to the United States whenever you can.
That's the plan. It's just going to take a little bit.
Godspeed, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hate to cut this off, but I got shit to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I know it's almost midnight there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, but I started to adapt like American time zone, so I'm probably gonna stay up until like 4 a.m. or something.
Oh gosh.
Yep. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Good to hear from you. Glad you're still alive and well.
Yeah, glad to hear from you too, and good that you're alive and well, but
right,
you're not as bad of a. Yeah, Austria's not gonna get nuked or something.
Yeah, I think you're good over there, unless Putin decides to activate one of those number stations, in which case they just send nukes everywhere.
Yeah, but we're not at risk actually, since we're a neutral country.
Yeah. All right, so final parting message: war bad. Don't advocate for it.
Exactly. Don't force trauma on young people.
For real, please don't. That's shitty.
Good. Then have a good day and a productive one.
You as well. We will definitely need to do this again at some point.
Yeah, I think we'll trying to do more of this.
You can probably come and force Mobby Street in a couple of days. Sunday.
Yeah, I can try. Like if I'm up, I can definitely do that.
Alrighty. Catch you on Twitter.
Catch you on Twitter. Bye.